Welcome to Southern Gospel Delmarva. Today our guests are a local favorite Southern Gospel quartet, The Dove. Now, here's your host for this edition of Southern Gospel Delmarva, singer, songwriter, evangelist, and pastor, Reverend Jimmy Cullen.
Well, this morning we're here with Buck Burton and The Dove, or half of The Dove. They're not all here. They're celebrating 45 years of gospel music. Buck, you want to introduce your guest this morning?
This is Anthony Palmer. Anthony is our lead singer and my son-in-law. Missing from us today are Calvin Schaefer, my brother-in-law, and he's our baritone singer. And Bill Jarrett is our tenor singer.
Okay. Well, just recently, actually at my church in Fruitland First Baptist Church, we had your 45th anniversary concert. We had a pretty good turnout that night. How do you think things went that night?
I was very pleased with it. I was happy for the turnout and just feel very blessed that we've been able to continue this ministry consecutively for 45 years.
Yeah, that's almost unheard of nowadays for somebody to do 45 years of gospel music like that. I've been singing for many years, but I can't say that I've been singing that long. I don't know if I have or not, especially with one group. That's a long group. Why don't you give us some history on the group?
Well, the group was started in 1971 over in Cambridge. My brother, Jack, was singing with some gentlemen from our church in a quartet, and I got turned on to Southern gospel music. We had some visiting groups come into Cambridge, and my mother would take me as a child to hear them, and I just fell in love with the quartet singing. So I became a Christian when I was 12, gave my heart to God then, and my desire was to sing bass with a quartet. And when I was 13, Jack and I started the group. Jack finally said to me, he said, if you can find all the people, all the singers, and the piano player, we'll start the group. So I started looking around, and it actually began out of Jack and I playing trumpet duets. We would go around to various churches and play the horns. And we were scheduled to be in a church in Secretary, Maryland, and we went up that week to practice with the accompanist, and Jack happened to know the young lady. And after we finished rehearsing for the musical that night, we sat around and just started singing a little bit and decided to sing one on that program as well. And that was actually the beginnings of the Dove before we ever had a name or whatever. And we later added a lead singer to make it a quartet. And I was 13 at the time. God works in mysterious ways sometimes. Up till the time I was 12 and was saved, I was what's known as a monotone. I could hear pitches, but when I tried to sing them, it all came out flat. It was just no raising and lowering of the pitch. It was all the same tone, monotone. And when I was 13, the Lord decided to bless me with somewhat of a voice, and started singing bass at 13. It was not a big, rich, full bass at that point. My voice hadn't matured that well, but I feel very blessed that, God says He'll give you the desires of your heart, and the desire of my heart was to sing bass with a quartet, and I feel very blessed that I've been able to do that for the past 45 years.
Yeah, that's great. I know how much I love gospel music. It's my favorite kind of music, Southern gospel, and I try to go to every gospel concert that I can. So, Anthony, how do you feel about singing with your father-in-law?
Well, it was kind of odd at the beginning. We would joke around on stage when he would introduce me, and I would always laugh about it, and it's real serious now. So.
Buck, I know your favorite singer probably was George Johnson as a bass singer.
Yes.
And of course, he sang with his son-in-law, Ernie Haas, and has his signature sound now. Okay, well, Buck, I know you guys about singing around quite a bit. I know you're a member of my church, you and Sarah, and it's a great addition to our church. We're glad to have you. But I miss you when you're gone, but at the same time, I understand because I go out singing. So what kind of ministries have you guys got available?
We determined way back when we started that we would go wherever God called us and sent us. So if we get a call to sing anywhere for anything, if it's at all possible with the 4 members of the group schedules, we do it. We do church services. We do banquets and dinners. We've done some civic organizations. We have done retirement homes. We've done retirement parties. But the basis for it all, the ground rules are, all we do is gospel music. And we consider that our ministry. We won't sing other types of music. And the thing about gospel music is there's always a message of salvation through Jesus. So we don't compromise that message. Even if we're singing for a secular type of event, it's always gospel music.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I preached on not compromising just yesterday at church. You were there, you understood that. How about your recording projects? You've got quite a few of those, I believe.
We have done a few. We have 6 recording projects dating back to 1986. We did the first one in Burt Studios in Secretary, which happened to be right across the street from the church we started in 71. That was in 1986. The title of that album is The Lighthouse. That's the title song. Many people will be familiar with that song if they follow gospel music. We did another recording in 1992 called The Love of God. In 93 we did a recording that's special to me. The Lord has blessed me over the years with a few original songs, and the recording we did in 93 is a recording of just songs that I've written. In 1994 we did a different kind of project. My wife traveled with us for 25 years playing the piano and accompanying us, and in 94 she released a solo album of just piano. It's just her and piano. The only thing I did on that was turn pages for her in the studio. In 2001 we had wanted to do a Christmas project and gathered songs that were special to us, and half of that album is us singing, the other half is Sarah with piano solos Christmas. And that's the first album we actually released on CD. All of our others are on cassettes, and it's hard to find anyone with a cassette recorder now or cassette player that even is able to play that. For a while people didn't have cassettes in their homes, but their cars still had them in the car stereos. Well, that's gone away too now. Our first album we actually had pressed on vinyl. And vinyl is making a comeback, but our albums are long gone. Our most recent recording we did in 2014, and it's called Blessed, and that's the only recording we have right now with our current group.
Yeah, I already know. You also write a lot of your own music. That's correct, right? And play a lot of instrumentation in it as well.
I have written a few. I haven't written anything in a while. My well seems to have gone dry in that respect. But when we do a program, there's always at least a few original songs on the program. And on the recordings, we have a couple on the recording where we purchased the rights to use a professionally done soundtrack. But most of the songs on the recording are we ourselves playing the instruments and some friends of mine in the Salisbury area who supplemented the tracks with their instruments.
Yep. Yeah, I understand you had Roger Brown played on last. Roger's as good as anybody in the National Quartet Convention. I go every year to the Quartet Convention.
Roger played piano for us on most of the tracks. A friend of mine named Mickey Justice played mandolin.
I know Mickey.
And another friend of mine, Dave D'Alfonso, played clarinet and tenor sax for us.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think we're gonna hear some music from you guys, some duet, and I think maybe also, of course, some quartet pieces. But so that we're gonna stand out right there, I guess.
This is a song I wrote called "The Comforter." It was written in 1988.
there's no more need to hide. Jesus, you brighten up the rainy days, and then you lift me to places higher than I've ever been. You take away the sadness and replace it with your love. Oh Jesus, I praise your holy name. Jesus, you brighten up the rainy days, and then you lift me to places higher than I've ever been. You take away the sadness and replace it with your love. Oh Jesus, I praise your holy name.
Great. Buck, you know, I noticed the other night when you sang a song, all the songs you've written so many songs. This one you just sang, The Comforter. Tell me about that a little bit.
That one, even though the words "the Comforter" don't show up in the song anywhere, that's really written about the Holy Spirit and how the Holy Spirit comes in our time of need to give us the comfort that was promised in the Bible, that He would come, you know, that way to give us those feelings of comfort. When I write a song, I'm a little different than a lot of other songwriters, I think. I don't set aside a time and sit down and say, okay, today I'm going to knock out a song. They usually come from some kind of inspiration. Several of my songs have come from a statement that I've heard in a sermon, and I'll take that and use that. The Love of God, a song that I wrote. I was a music minister for 30 years, and I was sitting on the platform and happened to look out across the congregation, and my daughter was sitting there on the pew, a very young child, and just I was taken with the innocence of a child. And she was actually the inspiration for The Love of God. At our concert for our 45th anniversary, my daughter was there. That's actually Anthony's wife. And there's a new generation of our family that's going to be happening very soon, as Ashley and Anthony are going to be parents to our first grandchild in October. So there may be some more inspiration for some new songs come out of that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty exciting. So Anthony, you got anything to say about all that? I mean,
It's very exciting. It's a little overwhelming now because we're coming down to the wire. He would always joke around in concert, talking to people, how his nephew Jay, when he was a baby, would sing low bass notes in Jay's ear, hoping that one day Jay would become a bass singer like him. Well, Jay turned out to be a wonderful tenor singer, extremely high tenor singer. So I'm hoping,
like his father,
like his father. So I'm hoping that if he decides to do that to my baby, he gives me fair warning.
Well, I don't want to give my bass spot up, so maybe we'll teach him to sing some other part.
Okay.
well, talking about teaching, how about why don't you tell the folks about how you teach it? Was it 3 different schools or something?
Okay.
Something like
The Dove is not any of our occupation. This is just something we do on our own time as our ministry. My vocation is that I'm an elementary orchestra and band teacher for 4th and 5th graders in Wicomico County. I teach at 3 different schools. I rotate between those schools and teach beginning orchestra and beginning band. I've been doing that for 35 years. In another week or so, I'll be beginning my 36th year. So it's very rewarding to be able to share music with someone like that. And many of these children don't have other experiences with music, especially with hands-on instruments. So it's very rewarding to get a child in September that doesn't know how to put an instrument together, and by May, their parents are so proud sitting in the audience listening to them play Mary Had a Little Lamb or whatever it is we're playing that day.
That's I know for me, music is just when I'm feeling down, you know, things aren't just going right. I can turn on my radio or a CD player and play a CD and that gospel song. That's why I love Southern gospel so much. It just moves my spirit. You know, I can be down and depressed, but it just lifts my spirits. You know, that's what gospel music does. That's why I still love the old Southern gospel style of music. I like all kinds of music. I like to praise and worship. You know, I like someone that can sit down and play a cantata or whatever. You know, I like all these things. But the old Southern gospel to me that's my favorite style, and I know that's your favorite style as well.
Well, that's true. On the back of our equipment trailer, we have our logo like this painted on there, and it says Southern Gospel Music from Maryland's Eastern Shore.
Not a bad place to be at, is it? This next song that I'll be performing is called I Am Holding You. I'm so glad that God holds me in His arms today. Amen.
So the next few songs we're going to do for you are some of those originals. This one was written back in 1989. Were you alive then, Anthony?
I was.
Yeah, you were 4 years old. Okay. When I wake up each day, Lord, I want to say, just give me a chance to do better today. With everyone that I meet out there on the street, Lord, give me a servant's heart. Lord, give me a servant's heart, a heart that is willing to do your will. A servant's heart, a heart that is needing your love to fulfill. Lord, give me a servant's heart, a heart that's aware of prosperity. I want to serve you, Lord. I serve you, Lord. Let me see through your eyes.
and by serving others I can surely be glad. When it made us true, I burn for you, forgive me a servant's heart. Lord, give me a servant's heart, a heart that is willing to do your will. A servant's heart, a heart that is seeking your love to fulfill. Lord, give me a servant's heart, a heart that's aware of those in need. I want to serve you, Lord, by serving others. I want to serve you, Lord, by serving others.
Well, that concludes our interview today with the Dove. We want to thank Anthony and Buck for being here with us, and for 45 years, Buck, for all those years. That's a long time, and we just want to thank them. And we hope you join us again for some more groups that will be coming along, different ministries that are serving the Lord with Southern gospel music. And may God bless you.
Psalm 139, verses 23 and 24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.